All right, here's an update. Okay, so I'm flying home today. This evening, I'm a little nervous flying out of Bozeman. I'm happy to be leaving Bozeman actually, but I'm gonna see how this airport is. So here's the deal. I was on the news yesterday. That was kind of funny. So, although they filmed my interview part in the sun and I looked not good, I was like, film me in the shade with a filter, please. Okay, so I'm flying out tonight at 7:50, boarding at 6:45 p.m., which is great. I cannot get out of this parking lot. Okay, so yeah, and then I'm back on Monday afternoon. I've dropped the bikes off at REI. Begrudgingly, they took my bikes. I called Vince about getting the van fixed. I've got the approval. It's about $8,000 that Luigi's insurance company will cover, which is great. Actually, when I did the interview, I was like, maybe I should do the interview about, you know, the crappy breakdown. But I thought, you know what, I'm actually going to kind of praise how everything got resolved. So, you know, silver lining kind of thing. So I don't want to bash anybody. I don't want to ruin anybody's business. I was pretty pissed that the mechanic did, you know, crush my van. Not really something that happens very often. But, oh, that's a cool Jeep. That's what I want to build for my brother. I want to get my brother one of those. There's like drug addicts begging. Everybody's on drugs here. It was actually a news story about how everybody's on drugs in Bozeman. Because marijuana is legal and everything's legal. And it means everybody's on drugs. It's the worst place to be driving. People just run stop signs. Anyway, that said, it's hot. It's very, very hot right now. So I am, where's my sky? There's my sky. It's overcast, kind of hazy. So anyway, blah, 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 back to me. So now I'm going to go do laundry for about 2 hours. It's only noon. Then I'm going to have some lunch, finish eating everything in my fridge, and then head to the airport about 3, just so I can sit and work on my computer. I want to try to get a few more videos done. Another guy's broken down there. I don't know what's going on with him. But yeah, no, I decided to make the video, the interview was only like a minute and a half. It was actually really cute. It was like, this is my kitchen, you know. It was kind of funny. You have to check it out. I'll put the link in the description for you to watch my little local celebrity thing. I thought that was fun. And you know, it does highlight, it does kind of give, you know, I want to show that van lifers are, you know, we're respectful that we get to use local businesses. Just don't crush my van, dude. Anyway, so I had a few things to run around do this morning. I had to go over to the little VA hospital yesterday that was here, and that was really good. It was really cute. So I just went and, you know, just got some things done there. And then, yeah, I just, you know, gonna go to the airport tonight. So I'm gonna do laundry. I'm just gonna sort the van out. So yeah, so what's gonna happen with Vince is that he's working on a hot rod, just a passion project, until August 1st. So I said that works out great. So I'll come back for 2 weeks. I don't know what's gonna happen with Big Sky. I've got to call Big Sky today once I'm at the airport and try to talk to Christine. I don't want to talk to Neil because he's on vacation, and he's the one that told me disabled people don't belong there. I'm like, you know, my GoPro is filming you right now. So I've got a 16-minute video of him a month ago saying that he really doesn't want adaptive riders. I'm like, that's so illegal. They have Eagle Mount here. So I told Eagle Mount that too, that Neil had said that, and his mansplaining and gaslighting of me. And I'm just trying to look out for my fellow riders, you know, just be aware that there are adaptive riders here. There are veterans here. There are people that are, you know, healing from trauma. Like, it's not just an able-bodied, high on marijuana, you know, male Bozeman local park. It's for everybody. But yeah, I gotta find Christine because I've ridden with her on the ski lift and I've talked to her and everything. So I think she'll be the best one to go through to figure out why they said they didn't want to put my bike on the lift anymore. It's highly illegal. I've just told everybody, everyone I'm interacting with, I'm just like, oh, by the way, Big Sky doesn't want to put my bike on the lift anymore. So I've got 2 weeks here. It's so damn freaking hot in Bozeman proper. So what I might do is when I get back on Monday, I might just go ahead and grab my bikes, get groceries, fill up my fridge, and Vince can't work on the van until the first week of August. So I told him, I said, well, that works out great because I'm leaving the same schedule 2 weeks from now. So I will go ahead and leave the van, you know, at his location so I don't have to do airport parking. I don't even know if there's airport parking available. There's an economy lot and there's a $15 a day lot. The economy is $12 a day, so I don't care which one I park in. It's only for like 4 days. Anyway, so he can't actually work on it. So I said, well, yeah, if you can work on it the first week of August, get your money from Caesar. So I forwarded everything from the insurance guy to Vince, and I told Caesar that I've gone ahead and done that, and just go ahead and write him a check. And then once Vince gets the money, he can order the part. So that gives him 2 weeks to get the part, which is the front panel. And then I'll go ahead and I'll go ahead and leave the van that day on August 1st, come back the same schedule, 2 p.m. in the afternoon. No, but anyway, so yeah, so blah, blah, blah. So Vince can work on it starting the first week of August. He said he'll just work through the weekend. He's going to be gone that weekend at a car show. But I said that's fine, because if I leave it the 1st and then I go home for that weekend, he comes back Sunday, starts working on it, and then I only need to get a hotel for a couple days. Because when I go back again, that's August 1st, I fly back again on like the 15th or something, or the 18th of August. And then I've got 3 weeks before I have to be home. So what this means is that, sorry, this road is messed up. So what that means is that, so I've got 2 weeks now just to be in Bozeman again. I do want to do some hikes. I do want to kind of get out into the wilderness for a couple days. I don't think I'm going to go back to the bike park, but if I'm not going back, I want my money back. I want my $375 back for the season pass, because they can't do this. They can't just, like, they didn't even revoke my pass or anything. They didn't give me any explanation as to why they told me they didn't want me to be there. Other than all I can think of is they don't want to lift my bike. So anyway, so I'm going to go ahead and just leave the van that weekend, and then that way the first week of August, hopefully he can get it fixed within that 2-week period, so I don't have to pay for a hotel for 2 weeks. Cheapest hotel in Bozeman is about $88 for like one that has a little kitchen, but the insurance company will reimburse me. I don't really want to pay up front for a hotel. I'd rather pick a nice hotel and have them give me that money for like 12 days or something. But if I have to pay out of pocket, then I'll just coordinate with Vince, and then I'll get the free rental car up front. I don't have to pay a penny for the rental car. So I'll be able to pick that up from the airport when I come back, which works out great, because then I don't need an Uber. So drop the car off August 1st, fly home for the weekend. When I come back that Monday, I'll get the car from Enterprise at the airport, and then I'll have a rental car. If I can get a rental car that's big enough to car camp, then I'll just drive back over to Vince's, grab everything out of my van that I need, and maybe I'll just go do some car camping for a couple days. I won't have a bike rack, so I won't have any way to take my bike with me. So I just have to leave the bikes on the back of the van, which I think is fine at Vince's. He's got a gate and everything. So yeah, so that's kind of the plan. It's kind of what I'm gonna do. So I'm also lost. I'm trying to look for the laundromat, and I don't exactly know which way I'm going. I'm gonna pull in here. This is somebody's house. I'm sorry. Now that I've been on the news, I have to watch how I drive. No, I drive it good anyway, but I just have to make sure I don't like scowl at anybody, because they're like, oh, it's a girl from the, like, we know who you are. I mean, I've got the Beatles sticker on the back, so they know it's me. I don't know how many people watch the local news here, but it was a cute story. It's also on their YouTube. They didn't put it on their website, but that's fine. But yeah, so I'll see if I get any traction with the nonprofit website myself, like see if anybody donates. That would be great. I'm sweaty, it's hot. Why is Montana hot? Montana's supposed to be cold, but that's the plan. Sorry, I'm just babbling. But that's the plan that I'm going to have, is I got 2 more weeks of just kind of hanging out. I would like to ride. I would like to get back to the bike park. If I'm, not to interact at all with the bike people, or just get someone else to help me put the bike on, I'm fine with that. But I've got veterans coming in August, and I don't know what I'm going to do. I've got 60 veterans that are coming out, and I don't want to cancel on them, but I also don't want to be here anymore if they're going to be like that. I mean, nobody knows who this Joe Kessler guy is. Nobody knows where he works. They couldn't find him in the HR database. I don't even know if he's like an employee or if he just came over as a joke, because he didn't even like escort me out, like nothing. I mean, it was just really bizarre. I'm like, this is the worst prank you could possibly do to me, and I really hope it's not a prank. So yeah, I don't know. I gotta find this Duds and Suds place. Everything, there's so many like marijuana dispensaries here. Let me pull over, try to find. There's a car wash. I should wash Prudence. But anyway, so let me figure this place out. Duds and Suds. Restart. Okay, it's up here. Oh, sorry. Yeah, so I'll do laundry for about 2 hours. There's some, oh, here we go. There we go. There's some van lifers. There's like 2 van lifers here. There's a lot of van lifers actually, which is nice. But some of them do sleep in the Planet Fitness parking lot, which I think is kind of funny. There's this Solus. I actually like the Solus, but I don't want to park under a tree, and this guy's parked over 2 spaces, dude. What is your problem? I'm going to park right next to him, because when you take 2 spaces, I'm going to park in the one next to you where you've got your door open, because I'm not going to let you have fun in your van when you take up 3 parking spaces. So I'm going to just pull right in here, right as close as I can to him, because he doesn't know how to park, and I do. Yeah, so anyway, let's park right there, so you can't put your deck chairs out. Yeah, they want to set up their whole thing in the parking lot. I'm like, you go ahead and do that, dude, but don't take up 7 spaces. What are you, a Cruise America van? Anyway, so I'm gonna park here. I'm gonna go do laundry. I just got quarters, which is a hell of a like trek to try to get quarters. Like apparently nobody has rolls of quarters in the world, so I have to go to the bank. But I think it's quarters in here. Duds and suds. Should take me, let's see, it's 12:15. It should take me about 2 hours to do laundry, and then from there I'll go ahead and just head to the airport. Just might as well get out there. I'll make some lunch as well, clean everything up, but I'm ready to go. You know, travel days are pretty easy. I just pack my you know, like budget airline bag basically, and there's some kid who's like offering to wash windshields. I don't do child labor, sorry. Why is your parent sending you out to clean windshields? Like, I mean, I do need my windshield cleaned, but I'm not going to have a kid do it. That's setting up the wrong example. So of course when they turn 16, it's like, get a job, pay your own car. But yeah, so that's it. So yeah, it's kind of an easy day. I slept in. I didn't go to the gym except to take a shower, so I didn't feel like working out this morning. It's my rest day. I'm going to be traveling until 6 a.m. tomorrow morning, so I've got a 4-hour layover in Seattle. They have a really good Indian restaurant, like not the best thing to eat before you get on a plane, but they had a good like food court Indian restaurant. It was like actually Nepalese food, which is really good. So yeah, so that's kind of the plan. Sorry, just babbling. Yeah, I'm kind of done with Bozeman. I've been here just over a month, about 5 weeks now, and I'm kind of done with it. I've made a few friends, I've gone out a few times, but I'm not here to like go out to bars or go out to music or go shopping. It's like I just come up to Bozeman to get provisions and then I head back to the wilderness. But I'm gonna have to plan the next 2 weeks. If I talk to Big Sky, they let me come back. They have to, or they give me my money back. I'll go down there anyway and go talk to them, get refunded, and then I'll just go do some cross-country mountain biking. I'll get my bikes on Monday from REI, have them put air in the hardtail tire, and because I'm not going to take the downhill bike, it's so beat up, but I'll take the hardtail and I'll do some bike packing. I'll go, you know, ride out to like Highline Reservoir. I'll go find some hikes and stuff. I got enough bear spray, but I think that's what I'm going to do. I think I'm going to go ahead and just you know, kind of explore the area a little bit, kind of get into some elevation. There's still snow and stuff in the places that I hiked with my friend a month ago. But everyone else that I've met up here, they just want to go out drinking and stuff. And I'm like, you're my new friend and I don't want to go out drinking. So I want to get out of town. I don't want to be in town for the next 2 weeks. So that's going to be the plan. And then I'll just go ahead and August 1st, leave the van for that weekend, fly home, come back that Monday with the rental car. And hopefully by then Vince has the part and he can just like start working on the van. He said that he works pretty quickly. It's not going to be 2 weeks out. You know, it's gonna it'll take him, you know, he'll crank through the weekend. He works pretty late. He just wants to get paid, you know, like that's the kind of mechanic I want. I'm like, do the job, get paid. Like, don't, you know, you get these bigger corporation type mechanics and they don't care if they hold your van for 3 weeks because they're getting paid round the clock. But you know, the small mom and pop place, and the fact that he can work on high roof vans and he can do the painting and everything. The only reason Pro Color Collision couldn't do it was because they have to order the part, the front panel, and then they have to send it to Vince for the paint, and that cancels the warranty apparently. So they weren't comfortable with doing the body work and then sending it out for paint, which is what they have to do anyway. So Carol over at Pro Color called Vince and said, can you please work on this girl's van? Like, this sweet girl needs to have her van fixed. So yeah, and then I talked to Luigi. We're good. You know, I was pissed off at him about doing it, but I understand, you know, whatever. Accidents can happen, but he got everything squared away. He admitted fault. I didn't have to pay a penny. And then I'll be in a hotel for a few days and I'll just crank out a ton of work, get all my videos done, get caught up. So it'll be good. I'll make it productive, and then I'll just go to the gym or go for, I can put the bikes in the hotel, wherever the hotel is going to be, and just go for a bike ride in the morning when it's cool. you know, just like around town, kind of figure out a city route if I want to, or just take the rental car with just me without the bikes and go hiking. But I'll be able to set up the SUV as kind of a car camper as well, just make sure I have all my stuff in there. But yeah, so yeah, I think it'll be fine. The guy in the Solus is pissed that I parked so close to him. Dude, it's your fault. Took up 3 spaces. He's sitting in the shade of, here's this guy right here. I just call people out like, this isn't your private parking lot, dude. Anyway, let me go get my laundry done because I'm hot and sweaty and I have to get on a plane tonight, so I don't like this heat. It's like already like 85 degrees. But I'm gonna grab some lunch while the laundry's being done. I'm gonna work on my computer in there. And yeah, that's it. Don't really have a lot of stuff to do, just videos today. Charged everything. Getting good sun, so that's good. Charging the power banks, and that's all. So I will see you guys in a little bit. But that's the update. So everything's been squared away. What a hell of a 2 weeks. You know, AC compressor goes out. I spend the night at the mechanic. Mechanic crushes my van. Fighting with the insurance company for 6 days. Running around trying to find, you know, a mechanic. You know, the bike. I got another flat tire on the bike. And then the big guy says they don't want to lift my bike anymore onto the ski lift. And then I had to do a suicide intervention with a friend of mine who had lost his kids in a car crash years ago, and I don't think he ever got any therapy or counseling or anything. He was in a pretty low point and just kept saying he wanted to put a bullet in his head, and I don't take that lightly. I've been through a lot of things with my friends over the years. I've lost a couple friends. My brother lost his best high school friend to suicide last year, and I don't care if you're mad at me if I call, you know, a well check on you. Like at that point, because your brain is in this scrambled, super depressive, you know, lowest point of life, that you want help. I mean, you wouldn't tell someone you want to kill yourself if it wasn't a cry for help. But I don't think this person, you know, I really cared about this person a lot, and still care about him, but you know, he needs help, and I hope he gets the help. I did tell the police, I said, look, I do hope you have a proper unit that understands how to talk to somebody, not just send a police officer over on a power trip. And they said, yeah, we actually have a whole department. So I haven't heard from him. He hasn't sent me, I can't believe you called the police on me text. I'm like, I don't care if you're mad at me, dude. I care about you enough to intervene, because you deserve to be here. You've been given a second chance. I'm really, 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 truly sorry about what happened to your family. And I can't even imagine what it's like for somebody to lose their kids. But you know, you have an opportunity to do something in their honor, you know. And I've, you know, after being in the hospital with Jeff, and I'll talk more about it, but Jeff's brain was scrambled after the 2019 crash. He started to hear voices. He started to think that there was this alternate universe, which when you have a you know, when you have a near-death experience, and he started hearing voices and thinking that there were these imaginary guides taking care of him and telling him to go to this other world. He didn't want to kill himself, but he wanted to go to this other world. And he kind of spent the next 3 years figuring out a way to get to that other world. I didn't know this until 3 months after the crash, when I found his, you know, we were cleaning out his house, and then I started talking to him in the hospital, because I knew he was talking to the imaginary guides, because he would do that when we were together. You know, he'd be asking them questions and saying that they were present and all this stuff. And I told him, I said, Jeff, that isn't real. But, you know, I didn't know he was going to take it as far as he did. And to find out that the gamble didn't pay off, and you end up getting stuck with 3/4 of a body, losing a leg, traumatic brain injury, on a feeding tube, on dialysis because you've destroyed your kidneys, you have paralyzed vocal cords so you can't speak. You know, it just, he spent 2 years never getting out of bed. So when somebody tells me they want to put a bullet in their head, you know, that doesn't always work out the way they want it to work out. And then the rest of the world is having to put everything aside and care for that person. I quit a 6-figure job, take care of Jeff, and I would do it again in a heartbeat, because I love him. And I still love him and I miss him. But I can't go through that again. I don't want to go through that again with anybody. So I will make a call. If you tell me you want to hurt yourself, I will make a call. I will make 100 calls. I'll find out who your friends and family are, and I will call all of them and tell them that this person needs help. Because sometimes, as I found in that trauma center, it wasn't just Jeff there, it was people that jumped off the Coronado Bridge and survived. You know, there's a lot of suicide attempts. There are people that jumped in front of cars and trains and survived. And they're quadriplegics, paralyzed from the neck down. And I spoke to them, I talked to them as they were able to leave their rooms, you know, being wheeled out to go get some, you know, sunshine from the window, or go be wheeled around, you know, the ward, you know, just to get a little bit of fresh air. And I started talking to them, and I learned a lot about regret, and that they really didn't want to go, but they were just in the lowest point. They felt like they didn't have another choice. There are choices. There are people that do care, that maybe you don't know at that point that they're caring, because they kind of stay away from the person that's always complaining, or always in despair, or always saying they're going to kill themselves. It turns people off, but these people are still there for you. They just don't know how to interact, because you have that wall up. You have that wall of, you know, of I just don't want any help. But I'm not going to let somebody that I care about get to a point where, you know, that they try and it doesn't work out, or they try and it does work out. I don't want to lose any more people. I actually don't want any more people as customers for my non-profit. You know, like I do, obviously, if you're injured and you want to get back into outdoor adventure, or you went through trauma, you have PTSD, you want to get back into it, absolutely help you. But I just don't want anybody to get injured or have trauma. Like, I don't want people to get to a bad place. But if you do, we're here to help, if that makes any sense. Like, we're going to help you. I just wish that the world was peace, love, and happiness, which I know is an unrealistic expectation. But we're here to help you get back to where you want to be, or get to a place you've never been where you want to go. You know, reinvent yourself. But when you're 53 years old, you're a kid. You know, you're halfway through your life. Like, it's too young. And so I called in for an intervention, and I haven't heard back from anybody. So I'm assuming either it was you know, a success, and hopefully they've given him some resources here in Bozeman, or you know, he hasn't called me and told me to, you know, thanks for calling the police, bitch. You know, like, I haven't heard anything, so I'm assuming it's okay. And so, but I'll keep an eye on it. I know a couple of his friends now, and his ex-wife, so I can just, you know, make sure he's okay. But you've been given a second chance, so, you know, it's not an easy thing to lose your kids. And losing your kids in a car crash where you're the only survivor, it's even more difficult. I cannot imagine. But I want to make sure that, you know, this is a good person with a good heart, and a very kind person, but then goes from the extreme of manic high to the lowest of despair. And it's that dichotomy that needs to be balanced. There has to be a way to get to that happy medium. You're going to have low days, you're going to have high days. I have them too in my grief. But I try to have more good days, or more parts of my day that are good than bad. And it's not easy. You have to fight through it. Therapy is not for the weak. Therapy is fucking hard. And I've been through grief counseling and PTSD therapy and trauma therapy. It's not easy. The VA does 16-week programs, and they are hard. But even though I feel defeated at the end of them sometimes, and just feel exhausted, and I just want to sleep the rest of the day, the next day I feel like, hey, I got through that. What can I get through next? That's what therapy is for. Therapy brings clarity to the world that doesn't make any sense to you. Therapy enables you not to be angry at everybody that hasn't gone through what you went through. Like, the grass is always greener. It's unfair that that person doesn't, you know, didn't have trauma. You know, like, that's the stuff that goes through your mind. But therapy helps you. Is this person going to hit me? I have a fear that this person's going to hit me. Don't hit me, dude. Good job. GMC. What is that, a Tahoe? Anyway, therapy, yeah, it gives you clarity, and it enables for, I'm so hot right now. It gives you clarity, and it enables you to have a better way to deal with the world that doesn't change around you, because your world has completely been uprooted and flipped upside down and put through the washing machine, put through the ringer, and then thrown into the middle of a tornado. And that is what trauma is. And you stay remaining in that chaos while everything around you just seems happy and calm, and it just makes you angrier and angrier when you're not an angry person. Therapy enables you to balance all of that out. And the right therapy. If you have the wrong therapist, get another therapist. You don't have to use the person they give you, especially with the VA. I didn't have a great therapist a couple sessions ago, so I switched and I had a better one. But I'm hoping that the resources are available, and this, this wonderful person that, I don't get to be friends with right now because he needs to work through it, and he doesn't want anyone around. He doesn't want friends. He doesn't want that companionship or anything, which I understand, but I am still, my door is still open. So I'm hoping that he gets the clarity and is able to find a purpose in his life, live for the legacy of his kids, do things that his kids will not get to do, but do it in their name and in their honor. And I told him before when, we were talking about all this weeks ago, I said, you have to design your healing, but you also need to have a guidebook. You need somebody to help you figure out that journey. But he was so anti-therapy. But then he kept saying he just wants to put a bullet in his head. And every decision I make cannot be, that. And started to throw that at the world, like, oh, you have to go home for the weekend. Like, don't you know that my kids were killed? I'm like, one has nothing to do with the other. I have a custody schedule. I have to go home. I'm very sorry about your kids. I have to go home. And that was kind of the conflict. And it just ended up blowing up. And then I realized, I'm like, this is someone that is very, very sick in terms of trauma, that needs to get well, that needs to get help. So I tried to contact his ex-wife, couldn't get a hold of her. And then finally I ended up just making a call to the police. And I said, can you just go do a well check and make sure you send someone that can give him resources? And that was about 3 days ago. So, I'll check in on it. That's all I can do. I have to go through my own grief healing, and I cannot put that aside for everything else. I have to continue my journey. I can't stop that. Otherwise, I'm going to have to restart everything. So it's a hard place to be. I've got my own grief, and I'm also wanting to save the world. How do you do that? Anyway, let me go do laundry, and I'll chat with you guys later. Bye.